My name is Sophie Reynolds. I'm 27 years old, and for 6 straight weeks, my upstairs neighbor was doing something mysterious to my ceiling every single evening. I became obsessed. I knocked on her door twice. I kept secret time-stamped notes like a detective. I built wild theories that kept me up at night. Then last week, I finally found out what it really was, and I've never felt more ridiculous and relieved in my life. Before we begin, if you connect with this story, please take a moment to like and subscribe, but only if it truly speaks to you. Tell me in the comments, where are you watching from and what time is it there? Now, let me take you back 6 weeks ago. The day the tapping started, I'd moved into my apartment in Maple Grove. Towers about a year earlier, a quiet 4-story building with only 20 units. The kind of place where everyone smiles in the elevator, but nobody really knows each other. My unit is on the 2nd floor, corner apartment, big windows, decent rent. After years of noisy roommates and thin-walled college housing, this felt like peace. I work from home as a graphic designer, so I spend most evenings at my desk right under the living room ceiling. That's where it started. Roughly 6 weeks after I moved in, around 8:15 p.m. one Tuesday, I heard it for the first time. A very specific, intermittent tapping. Not footsteps. Not furniture scraping. Not the usual upstairs neighbor noise. This was rhythmic, almost musical. Tap, 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 tap. It would go on for 15 or 20 minutes, stop for a bit, then start again. Sometimes it was steady like a metronome. Other times it had this gentle sway. First night, I ignored it. Second night, I paused my show and stared at the ceiling like it owed me an explanation. By the third night, I was Googling, what causes rhythmic tapping in ceiling? My theories got increasingly unhinged. Theory 1. Some kind of exercise equipment, maybe one of those vibrating platforms or a jump rope on a hard floor. Theory 2. An old rocking chair with a loose leg that she rocks in every evening. Theory 3. A dripping pipe inside the ceiling that only leaks at night. Theory 4. My personal favorite. She was secretly practicing tap dancing in socks. I knocked on her door the first time around week 2. A very pleasant older woman in her late 60s answered, silver hair in a neat bun, reading glasses on a chain, soft Swedish accent. Her name is Margit. She smiled warmly and said, "Oh, hello, dear. Everything okay?" I felt ridiculous explaining there's a tapping sound, and she just tilted her head and said, "Everything is fine up here, I promise." She looked at me like I might be slightly unwell. I apologized and left. The tapping continued. I knocked again 2 weeks later. Same warm smile. Same, "Yes, of course, dear, nothing to worry about." I started to feel like the crazy downstairs neighbor. I mentioned it to the building super, Mr. Delgado. He shrugged, said, "Old buildings make noises," and went back to fixing the lobby light. Not helpful. That's when I became methodical. I opened a notes app on my phone and started logging every single occurrence like an absolute maniac. Date, time, started, duration, pattern, notes, socked. October 12, 8:07 p.m., 18 minutes. Steady, then pause, then faster. October 19, 8:42 p.m., 22 minute, almost like a rhythm. 3 taps. Pause, 2 taps. October 27th, 9:15 p.m., 14 minutes softer. Tonight, maybe on a rug, I'd lie in bed some nights staring upward, timing the pauses, trying to match the rhythm to songs in my head. My friends thought it was hilarious when I told them. My mom suggested I was stressed and needed a hobby. I started calling it the ceiling situation in my own head. Last week, I ran into Margit in the mailroom. She was collecting a package. I was grabbing junk mail. She lit up and asked, "Sophie, dear, are you settling in all right? You seem a little tired lately." I figured this was my moment. Very politely, no accusation in my voice, I said, "Actually, I've been hearing this tapping sound from upstairs in the evenings, and I've been trying to figure out where it's coming from. I just wanted to make sure everything's okay up there." Margit's face didn't look worried. It looked delighted. "Oh, that's my loom, sweetheart. I'm weaving every evening after dinner. I have a big floor loom in the living room. The beater bar makes that lovely rhythmic sound when I'm working on a project. I had no idea it carried through the floor. She actually clapped her hands together like she'd just told me the best news. I stood there in the mailroom holding my electric bill, mouth slightly open, processing the fact that for 6 weeks I had been constructing elaborate conspiracy theories about a sweet, Swedish grandma quietly weaving scarves above my head. She invited me upstairs right then. Her apartment smells like cardamom and fresh coffee. In the corner of her living room sat a beautiful wooden floor, loom-wide, old, clearly well-loved. She showed me the scarf she'd finished last month, soft gray wool with delicate blue stripes running through it. It was stunning. She wrapped it around my neck for a second and said, "This one is for my granddaughter in Stockholm, but I'll make you one if you like." I apologized twice for knocking on her door and for probably sounding like a paranoid downstairs neighbor. Margit just laughed softly and patted my arm. "I hadn't minded at all, dear. I thought you were just being friendly. Next time you hear it, you can come up and watch if you like. It's very calming." I left her apartment holding the most beautiful, hand-woven scarf she insisted I take as a welcome to the building gift. I still can't believe it. 6 weeks of lost sleep. 6 weeks of wild theories. 6 weeks of time-stamped notes like a true crime podcast host. All because a lovely 68-year-old woman enjoys weaving after dinner. There is no dramatic confrontation, no revenge, no angry building meeting. Just pure, quiet resolution and the sudden realization that sometimes the mysterious noise above you is just someone creating something beautiful. I still hear the tapping every evening around 8 or 9. Now I smile when it starts. Sometimes I even turn my music down so I can hear the rhythm better. It's become the most soothing sound in my apartment. If you've ever become weirdly obsessed with a neighbor noise and built an entire movie plot in your head about it, I want you to hear this. Sometimes it's not a ghost, not a crime, not even exercise equipment. Sometimes it's just a grandma weaving scarves and living her quiet, lovely life. And sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's the sweet, hilarious moment when you finally understand. If this story made you smile or cringe in recognition, please hit subscribe and tap that notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next. And if you've ever had a mysterious neighbor noise that turned out to be something completely innocent or completely insane, drop your story in the comments. I read every single one, and so does this community.